Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Got it. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Right up. I got it. Okay. Thumbs up, you guys. Thumbs up. On this. All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You guys already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, go ahead and thumbs up this video. You guys know that thumbing up helps with not only YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Shout out to all the new subbies. Make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share this stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Facebook, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let me speak to the Conscious Crew in the building on this magnificent Tuesday. We have a midday breaking news. What's going on, Sin? Hey, Auntie Trish. Hey, Lady D. Hey, Tasha. What's going on, Miss Lady? Hey, Corn Silk. Hey, B. Angie. Hey, J.I. on period. What's going on, Shayla? Hey, Papa. Okay, better not get fired, baby. I can't pay your pills. I can't pay your bills, Papa. What's going on, Shark Tank? What's going on, Sherry, Corey? What's going on, The Real Empress? Hey, y'all. Hey, Lady T. Hey, Jackie. Hey, everybody. So, you guys, once again, continue to thumbs up. Hey, the Cat's Den. Make sure you guys are thumbing up as you guys are coming in. Moderators, please encourage everyone to thumbs up throughout the live stream. We need all of that for 2025. And hope you guys are having a wonderful start of the year, girl. We are reporting live from hell, honey. All 2025, baby. We're gonna be reporting live straight from hell. All right. We have a nasty piece of update in the Bishop T.D. Jakes defamation lawsuit against accuser Duane Youngblood. All right. The docketed on yesterday, child, but I really just wasn't in the mood to really get into it. And I try now to only do content when I'm feeling it. All right. So I said, girl, I'm going to just wait until the spirit hit me. And the spirit had hit me this morning, baby. So now we're here to get into the business, girl. Before we get into the deets of what's happening, I have a special guest with me who is going to help me to endure this aftermath. And it's going to be very interesting. Now, you guys may know this individual. His name is Will. Okay, Will is the alleged, ex-boy toy, alleged ex-lover of Duane Youngblood. He met Duane when he was in his 20s. Youngblood allegedly was married at this time and was basically dealing with Mr. Will in a sugar daddy, sugar baby type situation, child. Will broke it off with Duane allegedly when he found out that Duane was actually married, because Duane tried to have sex with him in his office where all of his family portraits were. This allegedly resulted in some retaliation on Duane's part, who contacted Will's aunt and family to lie on Will and tell them that he had given Duane an STI, STD. Girl, it's been a whole hot shiggity mess. All right. After that, they went their separate ways. And Will, keeping up with the keepings up, girl, saw Duane headlining and was just like, wow, this is nasty work. So I'm going to welcome Will to the platform. Hi, Will.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, Mr. Shower? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for sharing.
How has your 2025 been?
It's been pretty good. Pretty unmomentous so far, other than New Year's Eve. Everything has been, we're just sliding the new year and not nice and quiet so far. Waiting for that big storm to happen on January 20th.
Hold on. It's a big storm happening?
Donald Trump.
Oh, you know what? That's how far removed I am. That's how far removed I am from the bullshit, babe. I forgot that nigga was coming. Right. That's a whole shit show. Interesting. Well, are you here for the other damn storm? The T.D. Jakes versus Duane Youngblood storm.
I'm perched, clutching my virtual pearls and everything. I am so ready for it.
Clutching your pearls. All
yeah,
right,
bro.
Well, we're going to read this thing together. And of course, I want your feedback and commentary as we move through this update. And just to catch everybody up, in case you have no idea what's going on, you guys know that Bishop T.D. Jakes sued a individual by the name of Duane Youngblood, who interviewed with Larry Reid live back in November of 2024 and basically accused T.D. Jakes of trying to groom him sexually, claimed that T.D. Jakes tried to come on to him, tried to proposition him. Duane was a 19-year-old adult male at the time that T.D. Jakes allegedly made these moves on him. Apparently, there was a whole thing that transpired between Duane Youngblood and Jakes, where Duane went to the higher administrations of the church to deal with the situation with Jakes, and there was all this kerfuffle, etc. Well, nonetheless, it resulted in T.D. Jakes suing the shit out of Duane Youngblood, and apparently T.D. Jakes is going to be suing some more people. And T.D. Jakes, in our last update, was motioning the courts to expedite discovery, and discovery within a lawsuit is the space where both parties get to pretty much vet each other. They get to request information that's necessary for their defense, emails, texts, bank records, even witnesses, all type of things go on during discovery. Well, T.D. Jakes wanted expeditiously forwarded discovery in this case because he feels like Duane and Duane's alleged co-conspirators are not going to be integral, and that they're probably already throwing all type of conspiratorial evidence to the goddamn bonfire, trying to get rid of all type of shit, because T.D. Jakes is under the full impression that Duane is not in this thing alone. You guys know from Jakes' complaint, he listed Dr. Larry Reid as a potential co-conspirator, and he has a John Doe 1 through 10. So he believes that this is a whole coup that is against him, that is conspiring against his brand, his business, his name, his legacy.
I'm on TV.
And he seemingly, yes, you are on TV, Will, and he seemingly wants all of the damn smoke, girl. Okay, well, y'all know that the courts granted T.D. Jakes a hearing regarding that expedited discovery for the subpoenas that Jakes wants the courts to go ahead and greenlight on his behalf. Well, that hearing happened yesterday. We have not gotten word back on what the judge has ruled just of yet regarding that hearing. However, we did get Youngblood's response to Jake's request for an expedited discovery and those two-party subpoena situations he wants in this matter. Now, what's interesting, Will, is that when I forwarded to the bottom of Duane's response to Jake's motion for an expedited discovery, guess who is representing him in this matter?
Who?
Tyrone A. Blackburn, the attorney that he initially told Jakes was not representing him, the attorney that told Jakes initially that they could not serve Duane, that they could not serve him on Duane's behalf, now is the attorney listed on said suit. He's a part of Duane's defense team. What do you think about Tyrone A. Blackburn officially stepping into the group chat after attempting to act like he had nothing to do with this? He was not representing Mr. Youngblood, etc. Do you think that they were playing games, or do you think that there's been some conversations between Blackburn and Youngblood since all of this has happened that might have led to Tyrone Blackburn deciding to finally step in officially?
Well, I pretty much felt that Tyrone was always a factor in this lawsuit. I know Tyrone wants to get in where he can fit in, chase his clout wherever he can, and I just always felt that Tyrone was always going to be a part of this lawsuit from the very beginning.
Oh, you always felt
they can
that
sit
way.
there and BS us all around.
What made you always think that that was the case?
Just a feeling. I just felt like, I mean, it was just a feeling. I just pretty much knew that Tyrone was going to be the one to represent this.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always felt that way.
Well, let's read. I mean, first of all, I don't know why anybody continues to deal with Tyrone Blackburn. I mean, the man has a very horrendous track record when it comes to litigating, and almost everybody that I know that he's represented has ended up on a shorter end of the stick. So as far as I'm concerned, right off the bat, Duane is already going into this taking a major L by even being represented by Tyrone Blackburn.
He's just willing to take a chance wherever he can. He's desperate at this point.
Desperate,
so, and then
convenient.
He's doing this. I'm sorry. He's doing this pro se, right?
Desperate, convenient, and I don't know if they are representing him pro se or not. Tyrone Blackburn may or may not be representing him pro se, but he may be, since Duane Youngblood apparently is working part-time and scrambling for a nickels and dimes at the bottom of the piggy bank. So maybe some pro se representation here. All right, let me take a swish of my lemon water before we get into reading what Duane had to say as it relates to Jakes requesting subpoenas and a fast discovery. And you guys, please thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. Response in opposition to plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery. Defendant Duane Youngblood by and through. Oh, and anytime that you want to speak, just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Defendant Youngblood by and through his counsel hereby files the response in opposition to plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery as follows. Defendant Duane Youngblood respectfully opposes Plaintiff Bishop Jakes' motion for expedited discovery, which represents an unwarranted and premature attempt to bypass the orderly procedures of the federal rules of civil procedure. Plaintiff alleges defamation and civil conspiracy based on speculative and unsubstantiated claims involving alleged statements made decades ago. Involving alleged statements made decades ago. Is Jakes not suing him for what happened just 3 damn months ago?
Right, that part.
Well, let's read. Plaintiff further seeks to justify this expedited discovery on the dubious premise of uncovering a purported conspiracy involving unidentified individuals as John Does without providing any factual basis for these assertions. The motion for expedited discovery is not only procedurally flawed, but also imposes upon also imposes undue burdens on third parties while failing to meet the required threshold of good cause. Courts have consistently denied such fishing expeditions that are disguised as discovery requests, particularly when grounded in conjecture rather than evidence. Here, plaintiffs' pleadings fail to establish any immediate harm or urgency warranting deviation from standard discovery practices. Moreover, plaintiffs' sweeping and intrusive discovery demands lack proportionality and specificity, further underscoring their impermissible nature under established legal standards. If the court is inclined to grant plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery, defendant respectfully requests reciprocal permission to issue subpoenas for deposition testimony and documents from several men who have reported experiencing similar acts of sexual assault and harassment perpetuated by the plaintiff. This information is critical to refute plaintiff's carefully curated public persona of themed emotional distress and allegations of victimhood. So far, what do you think about that, Will? Duane is wanting, he's saying, look, it's not necessary. We don't feel like the argument made for an expedited motion really warrants just that on the plaintiff's behalf. On top of that, if you guys are going to green light that for him, then hell, green light it for us too, because I would like to subpoena several other men who have reported the same religious grooming and alleged sexual assault in this said situation. A little confused, but interesting. What do you think?
I think it's getting sticky. I think it's getting a little bit sticky now. I feel like this is really going to be bad. I feel like now these are people that Youngblood is going to subpoena.
Yes. He wants permission for reciprocal.
Well,
he wants a reciprocal matter to issue subpoenas for deposition testimony and documents from several men who have reported experiencing similar acts of sexual harassment. But here's the thing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think that I don't think that'll help his case. We're talking about just him and him alone. Other people can allege that the abuse happened as well, but we're still talking about him. We're still talking about
correct
needing that irrefutable proof, tangible evidence that he did it to him. You can bring other people on board and say that it happened, but they can't say that it happened to you.
Right. Correct. Because
so, I mean, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm curious.
I mean, it's all good.
I think we got a delay. I think we got a delay. That's what it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got like a few seconds worth of a delay. Bless me. What I was going to say is that I find it interesting, even though he's responding to Jake's motions for an expedited discovery, like you said, baby, you haven't even really laid out a whole strong case for yourself yet. And what happened to all these affidavits that you supposedly had? All these witnesses that you supposedly had. Remember in our last update, you know, he said that he had some signed affidavits from folk who could corroborate, etc. Where is all of that evidence? Because you haven't really laid out your case against Jakes yet before you're wanting to dogpile and bring people with their separate issues with Jakes into this mix. And like Dazzle Taro says, I'm not even sure how much of that is really going to work in this case anyway. I'm not really sure. You ready to get
Like
back
I
to
said,
reading?
I'm all for the dog pound and everything, but it's not proven that it happened to him.
But that's why he needs the dog pal, because they're trying to establish a pattern of behavior on Jake's part that will convince a jury that this more than likely did happen to Duane, because it allegedly happened to several 800 billion other damn people. So that's why he needs the other witnesses, because his particular case is right now seemingly weak until he produces those alleged affidavits, those alleged letters, and all of the things surrounding all of this controversy that was going on between him and Jakes at the time. Until he does that, as of right now, the case and the defense on Duane's part is weak. Will always has some goddamn connection issues, y'all. So he'll probably be back. So let's continue to read. As detailed below, defendant asserts that plaintiff has exploited his position of power within the pulpit to target young men, many of whom have shared with defendant their eerily similar and at times more graphic accounts of misconduct by the plaintiff, girl. Wow, wow, wow. Explosive, you guys. Okay, so Duane is alleging to the courts that he has spoken to other men who have an even more harrowing experience of T.D. Jakes and being targeted and being allegedly actually groomed, pursued, assaulted, whatever this may be. Even more graphic accounts of misconduct by the plaintiff. Y'all, didn't I tell y'all that, baby, the official response to the complaint is going to be nasty work? Because this ain't even the official response. You know, Duane has what, to the 26th, I think, to respond officially to the complaint, girl. Okay, but this is just a little, yes, Rebecca, you said it. This is just a little foreshadowing of what's to come, because I told you guys that complaint, baby, I mean that response to Jake's complaint is going to be explosive, okay? So Duane has allegedly talked to other alleged victims of T.D. Jakes. He goes on to say, these testimonies and related evidence are essential to providing a broader context to defendant statements and to establishing a pattern of behavior. Tyrone Blackburn and Youngblood, these motherfuckers be watching me, girl. They both sides be watching me. They be taking notes. Y'all know, baby, I have a spectacular track record of predicting, girl, where shit is, being able to call out the nuance, even the judge's attitude, the whole mood going on here, girl. These folk are literally taking one out of my book. Now I'm going to have to decide, right? If I want to be careful about what I say, because I may in fact be helping either party to come up with their respective strategies, or I could just not give a damn because I ain't got no rooster in the fight to begin with, baby. We just came to dance for them, y'all. Okay, we just came to dance for these folk, girl. We ain't got no rooster in the fight, baby. We ain't got nothing we need to do in the situation, child. So what y'all think? Do y'all think I should just continue to give my legal observations, my intellectual observations, girl, with the potential that it could benefit either side, depending on who I'm speaking about, depending on what observations I'm making, girl? Because we're seeing, girl, all my observations, girl, they just like in the Jay-Z case, girl, okay? All my observations are becoming reality. What y'all think? Just not give a fuck. Just do what I do, and may the best man win. And if my observations help either side, it is what it is. Or do y'all think I should be mindful? Let's vote right now. Should I do a poll? Should I do a poll, child? What y'all think, girl? I'm just too good at this shit, girl. This should be easy, child. This should be easy, child. Hold on, let me see here. Shit, let me see if I should. Y'all thumbs up, girl. Let me see if I should do a poll, child. Do a poll. All right, let's see here. should I freely give feedback about this case now that we know both parties? Oh, that's too much. Too many characters. Hold on. Should I or should I not continue? Oh, I can only ask one question. Should I continue to give feedback knowing both parties are listening and can use it for their defense? All right. It should be, can y'all see the Q&A? I did a Q&A instead of a poll. Can y'all see the Q&A in the chat? They need to pay you. Maybe CTV already is being paid. Maybe CTV already being paid, baby. Don't CTV look like Monet, baby? But whose money is the question? Am I looking like, baby? Don't CTV look so fresh and so clean? Don't he look like the coin? But the question is, whose coin is CTV looking like, baby? All right. Okay, I'm going to give y'all time to vote off on this Q&A before we move forward. Let me see how y'all voting off. Let me see if I can see the Q&A chat. Y'all can see it? I can't see it. We can't vote. How y'all can't vote, but y'all can see it? Are y'all able to vote? It's not a poll, but we can't vote. But what the fuck is the point of a Q&A? Okay, hold on. Let me end the Q&A and let me do a poll instead. All right, start a poll. Oh, here it is. I should have did the poll the first time. Should I continue to give feedback knowing both parties are listening and can use it to their defense? All right. I just started the poll. All right. So you guys vote off on that. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I just changed it from a Q&A to a poll. It's a poll now. Something that I know that a lot of y'all know a lot about. Back in Freaknik days, okay? Back in the late 90s, baby. Well, mama had to make things happen, honey, as a single mama, baby. Okay? I know a lot of y'all are familiar with the poll, baby. Yes, God. Okay, well, almost a unanimous. Almost a unanimous. Hell yeah. Wow. God, wow. Okay, we got 81% right now for yes and a 19% for no. And should CTV continue to give feedback knowing both parties are listening and can use it to their defense? Okay, the most of y'all says yes. Okay, be non-biased, may the best man win, and let it be what it be's. All right, so the Conscious crew has sounded off, unanimous vote. We are going to proceed to just give our thorough legal observations, and it's just going to be what it's going to be, child. I also want to shout out my baby father, Todd. Get them coins on period. My baby mother, Unique, and my baby mother, Jacqueline, for the Odessa child support checks. You guys know all donation information is in the description box below, baby. All right? Baby, that's why y'all need CTV on these streets, baby. Okay? The one and the damn only, all right? So they're taking one out of my book, all right? These testimonies related evidence are essential to providing a broader context to defendant statements and to establishing a pattern of behavior that contradicts plaintiff's claims of defamation and conspiracy. Accordingly, defendant respectfully requests that this court deny plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery in its entirety. If the court is inclined to grant plaintiff's request, defendant requests reciprocity in the form of depositions and document requests from additional victims of plaintiffs who are all eager to come forward and testify, baby. Duane is lining. I told y'all he's going to line Jakes' ass up. All right. So y'all already know what's officially coming, baby. Okay. Duane just let it be known to the courts and to the world, girl, that he has a whole village of alleged T.D Jakes victims, girl, who are ready to jump into this case and to knuck and buck and swing on the motherfucking bishop, child. And he wants requests from the courts to equally grant him the same discovery privileges as Jakes, if they're going to do that, so that he can already start legally bringing these people into this case, because you guys know this is a litigation. He can't do anything. Neither party can do anything without the court's permission. All right. So he wants permission to bring in his witnesses who can corroborate, etc., child. But like Will said as well, all right, how far that's going to work to Duane's advantage is yet to be seen, right? Because still, even if Jakes has done A, B, C, D, and E, F, and G to other people, it doesn't still mean that he did it to Duane. And as far as the courts know, Duane could have came into this matter already with this information about these alleged other accusers and co-wangled his own money grab scenario based upon what he believed he would be able to prove in court if it ever went to court, because he was already aware of this said scenario. This might also be the reason why T.D Jakes wants these subpoenas and wants to get all up into the emails and nooks and crevices and correspondences of Dr. Larry Reid and Duane and whomever else he feels is a co-conspirator, because that might be a part of his defense against all of this, that these other people have this, that, and the third to say. This doesn't make it true in Duane's case. And Duane simply took other allegations and claims by other people and used that to motivate a money grab and to determine a defense in case he would have had to put up with my big bike ass in the court of law, girl. Okay, this is going to get, this, told y'all, it's going to be a blood bath. It's going to be a bloodbath, y'all. Wow, wow, wow. I want to read that one more time. If the court is inclined to grant plaintiff's request, defendant requests reciprocity in the form of depositions and document requests from additional victims of T.D Jakes, who are all eager to come forward and testify. Now, might be all bluff, because Tyrone Blackburn is a bluffer. We don't know whether this is fear tactics, whether they are trying to embellish and exaggerate things in order to scare T.D Jakes' ass off, okay, by making him aware that there's going to be a dog pile, there's going to be an avalanche, all right, because Duane has yet to come forward, girl, with those affidavits and those letters he claimed he had. We haven't seen that yet, even though he yabba-dabba-dooed about it. So are there several of men who are ready to come forward and testify, or is that all bullshit on Duane's part? All right, allegations from plaintiff's complaint. Bishop Jakes initiated this litigation on November 25th of 2024, alleging defamation per se and civil conspiracy. Let me bring up Will again. All right, you're back, Will.
Am I back?
You're back.
Thank you, bro. We had a little situation with the connection, so I'm good. I'm back. So how far along did you get?
I know that you're already getting your goddamn Wi-Fi from Target and Walmart and not no official, cable company. So I be expecting these shenanigans from your router at this point. We got to some explosive things, Will, and let me just rewind it back a little bit. But
yes,
check out what he had to say here. As detailed below, defendant asserts that plaintiff has exploited his position of power within the pulpit to target young men, many of whom will have shared with Duane their eerily similar and at times more graphic accounts of misconduct by T.D. Jakes. These testimonies and related evidence are essential to providing a broader context to defendant statements and to establishing a pattern of behavior that contradicts plaintiff's claim. And I just got finished talking about they are trying to establish a pattern of behavior, right, Will?
Yes, sir.
That contradicts plaintiff's claims of defamation and conspiracy. Accordingly, defendants respectfully request that this court deny plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery in its entirety. If the court is inclined to grant plaintiff's request, defendant requests reciprocity in the form of depositions and document requests from additional victims of plaintiff who are all eager to come forward and testify, Will. So here it is. Duane lets it be known that he's in contact with other purported victims of T.D. Jakes and that these people are on board to come forward, and he wants the court's permission to grant him the legal right to bring these people into this case. What do you think about his claims that he's in contact with other victims and that those victims are definitely on board?
I certainly believe it. I mean, there's definitely, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, there's definitely other people that have involvement with Jakes, but that still does not constitute a binding story by Youngblood himself. It's, like I said before, it's good to have other people on your team. It's good to have a dog pile, but the main dog gotta have some barking going on. We need to have some barking in the form of those affidavits that you're talking about and other photographic evidence. Other than that, I mean, you're working with something, but what's working for you? You know, I believe that. I believe that he's had other involvements with other males before, but we're still working against the deficit of your character. Your character is still messed up. We're not questioning the character of the other people that you have affidavits for. You know, these people that want to come on and say that T.D. Jakes did to them. We're not going against their personality. We're not going against their moral character. Your moral character is still on trial. They're going to say, okay, well, this happened, but what about you? What about these affidavits that you have? What about this? These other things that you promised before in prior statements? Where are all those things?
Man, have you thought about this, Will? What if T.D. Jakes subpoenas your ass and have you acting as a defense witness to help him to establish a pattern of behavior even outside of Duane's arrest record, outside of his own criminal offenses, because that could happen.
Well, can he pay for this old shitty internet I have?
I'm sure he can. Would you say yes to being subpoenaed?
Yes, I would.
Like, you would. Wow.
Yes, I would.
Oh,
absolutely.
My God. Now, you ain't got no skeletons of your own, do you? Because, you know, a Duane is going to come back saying that you gave him all type of crabs, ain't it? All type of bacterial vaginosis and things. Okay?
No.
Are you ready to...
No qualms about going public, telling my story in the court of law or any other place. That's why I'm here in the first place. When I first started this, you know, I'm not nameless, but I'm a faceless person. I just could have came on here and just, you know, told the story and just, you know, just could have asserted all types of things, trying to make myself known. I was just here sharing my story. You know, whether people believe it's truthful or not, that's fine. I know it's truthful. I know it happened. He knows it happened. And I'm willing to take it to any step that I need to go to. If I'm subpoenaed, I'll be more than happy to face him in court because I'm clearly telling the truth. There's nothing to lie about.
Do you have any plans on contacting Jakes directly or Jakes' attorneys to inform them that you would be willing to be a witness in this case?
I don't have any type of phone number or any type of connections. I'm not sure who represents him.
All the information is on the suits in terms of who his attorneys are and stuff.
Okay. I mean,
I'm just asking if you're gonna be that. I'm just asking if you're gonna be that messy, and if you're gonna initiate contacting Jakes directly and contacting Jakes' team, his attorneys, to let them know that you do exist and to tell them what your story is in case they may want to utilize you.
I wouldn't say that I would seek out to do it. If they came to me, that's fine. But you know, if they need my information,
do you want to provide an email right now, Will, in case somebody might want to contact you, baby? Do you want to provide a contact of any kind?
You are messy. You are messy.
I'm just, hey, the conscious crew told me. The conscious crew told me to be non-biased. They said CTV, just let it rip. We know that both parties and all parties are listening. They're taking your feedback. So I ain't got no rooster in the fight here. I ain't team Duane. I ain't team T.D. Jakes. I am team commentate.
Right. Yeah, I can drop you an email.
Okay. If you want to say it out loud as well, you can do that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull on.
Y'all see the poll? The conscious crew asks for the non-biases, baby. I'm just being non-biased, baby. So nobody can't see a bitch bias. Ain't nobody say it, baby.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. It's W 069 4940 at gmail.com.
W06949
nope. Is W 069 249.
Hold on, 249.
40.
Okay, hold on. Say that again because I think I missed something.
Okay, it's W 069 249 40.
All right, got it. W069 249 40
at gmail.com.
gmail.com. All right, let me put this in a banner actually. Create banner.
And I'm definitely receptive to any type of response or any type of input. If they need any type of help or information from me, that would be great. I just wouldn't say that I would openly seek them out. You know, maybe they might not need me. If they need me, they'll have the information. We'll see what happens from there. But I'll be more than happy to cooperate in any way that I can. All
right, I just put that up since you are more than willing, baby, to be a goddamn defensive girl. This is gonna be nasty work. This is nasty work here, child. Okay, what do you think about this statement from Dazzle.Taro, Will, who says that, but if the accusers don't have real evidence, then it's hearsay, right? The best that it would do is slander Jakes, all right? So, as I was saying, he claimed he had affidavits, he had letters, etc. We have yet to see that. Maybe it's still coming. I don't know. Or it could just be a bunch of yabba dabba do. Do you think that these accusers of T.D. Jakes have more than just a story? Do you think they have evidence? For example, we know that Prophet Manasseh seemingly had some evidence to corroborate his narrative about Jakes, which were these text messages and pictures that were sent to Manasseh, you know, during various times of the night, where Jakes was thinking about him and sending him a picture of him painfully squeezed into a pink polo shirt, and you know, just arguably being sensual. Do you think that these other accusers have more than just their story to tell, but have evidence to support it?
Well, first of all, what were those two going to do? Bang purses together? I mean, what's up?
You know what? Bless Prophet Manasseh. Bless Prophet Manasseh and bless his father, Bernard Jordan.
Anyway, 3 purses. Anyway, back back to the story. I would have to say that if he was messy enough to slip up and be able to give Manasseh tangible proof, probably one out of those 6 people or whoever that he has a subpoena on, somebody else has to have some type of proof as well. You would think, as far as like the odds are concerned, that if he can do it one time, send somebody a text message, he's probably done it again where someone else has some type of tangible evidence. Someone else out there has some type of tangible evidence besides Manasseh. I just don't think T.D Jakes is that slick. But I mean, your guess is as good as mine. But as far as statistically, you know, somebody else out there has to have some type of information. So we just have to see what happens when it happens.
Woo, baby. I wonder if Jakes is shaking in his damn boots right now. Auntie Trish says, I'm side-eyeing anybody who is crying wolf in 2025, starting mess and then not standing by it, okay? We're going to have to be more integral, ain't it, Auntie Trish? Don't start the fire and then act like you ain't got nothing to do with the smoke.
Right.
Okay? Right. A mess out here. Not everyone might be willing to come forward, but Duane is letting it be known, Blood Arena, that the alleged accusers he talking to are ready to come forward. They are eager to come forward, and he wants the court's permission to grant him permission to legally bring them into this litigation. Okay, so let's continue to go on with allegations from plaintiff's complaint. Plaintiff Bishop Jakes initiated the litigation on November 25th, alleging defamation per se and civil conspiracy against defendant Duane Youngblood and unidentified individuals, John Doe's 1 through 10. The claims stem from defendant's public recounting of a childhood incident in which defendant alleged he was sexually assaulted by plaintiff. Plaintiff's complaint also implicates a podcaster claiming they amplified these allegations on widely viewed online platforms, thereby causing reputational harm to plaintiff. According to the complaint, defendant statements and subsequent discussions on social media platforms and podcasts were part of a broader conspiracy to damage plaintiff's reputation. Well, he's not making that not the case by letting the courts know that he's talking to other alleged accusers who are ready and eager to come forward.
Right.
So, I mean, you're kind of running right into all of that. However, the complaint fails to provide factual support or specific evidence tying defendant to any coordinated defamatory actions involving the podcaster or other unnamed individuals. Instead, plaintiff relies on conclusory assertions of a conspiracy without detailing the mechanisms or participants involved. There's something I want to say right here. I'm not going to say it because I'm just not going to say it. But this here is interesting. This here is very, very interesting because, yeah. That's interesting. There is something Jakes could do with that. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Jakes.
Come on.
No, I'm not. Hold on, because
your girl just sat there and said that in 2025 you ain't gonna be starting stuff that you can't finish.
Oh, God.
He just said that. Yeah, you stood 10 toes down on that shit. Come on with it.
Jakes. So, because it's there's a few things happening right here in this sentence.
Okay.
Jakes is trying to get dirt on Dr. Reid and vacuum him into this situation. Right. However, like, if we're just being fair and honest here, a coordinated attack. See, this is the thing. No, because see, I can't. If I say what I'm about to say,
No, I understand. Now that I understand what you're talking about, I understand.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even say it because I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not team. I ain't team Jakes and I ain't team Duane.
right.
But I'm not gonna give Jakes no help when it comes to Dr. Reid. So
Exactly. I
I'm
understand.
just gonna let that be that.
I got you. Yep.
Because I was thinking about if it was a lot of information on what I was about to say.
Right.
And it is a lot of strategy could be pulled out of what I was about to say, but I'm not gonna say it.
Exactly, because they're watching everybody.
Yes, and they definitely watching my motherfucking ass.
Yep.
So it goes on to say that the complaint further alleges the unidentified co-conspirators disseminated false claims to extort money from plaintiff, yet it provides no substantiating details such as communications agreements or identifiable individuals. Plaintiffs' reliance on vague and speculative allegations underscores the lack of a concrete basis for the discovery sought. The described events, including podcasts aired in October and November, are presented without demonstrating any immediate or irreparable harm that would justify expedited discovery. As the complaint itself highlights speculative and unsupported claims, it fails to meet the standard required to warrant departure from standard discovery protocols. Plaintiffs' generalized assertions do not establish a compelling need for expedited discovery, nor do they provide sufficient detail to substantiate the requested relief. Defendant Duane Youngblood offers a detailed and deeply personal account of his interactions with plaintiff Bishop T.D. Jakes, alleging a series of events that highlight inappropriate conduct and emotional manipulation. These incidents occur, according to defendant, are critical to understanding his subsequent public statements about plaintiff. Mr. Youngblood recounts an incident occurring during his late teenage years after a church service where he had been driving plaintiff to the residence where plaintiff was staying. Upon arrival, plaintiff invited defendant inside for what initially appeared to be a pastoral conversation. This discussion turned personal and emotional, providing defendant with an opportunity to express deeply rooted struggles, including challenges in his father-son relationship. However, the interaction... you want to comment on that?
I said, man, so we're talking about a grown-ass man, married with children, sitting at a table, talking to a teenager about his struggles and his own father.
Was he married at 19? Was he married by then and had kids?
No, I'm talking about T.D. Jakes. I'm saying when T.D. Jakes, you know, he's talking to Youngblood. Remember, Youngblood was a teenager. So T.D. Jakes, with all his infinite wisdom and knowledge and intelligence, wants to sit there and talk to some kid about his own struggles and his own relationship. I don't know.
I mean, he is a pastor. I mean, and this is what pastors do.
Confide in children.
Well, no, it's saying that Jakes gave Duane the opportunity to express his issues.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Duane had drove Jakes to his residence, and Jakes had invited him in.
Okay.
And from there, they were supposed to have a more in-depth. Yeah, they're supposed to have a more in-depth discussion about, I guess, his life and his struggles, etc.
Right.
It goes on to say that, however, the interaction culminated in an unwanted and inappropriate advances by plaintiff, who attempted to kiss defendant. The following morning, plaintiff contacted Mr. Youngblood via phone, during which plaintiff proposed conditions for an ongoing relationship. Plaintiff purportedly outlined explicit terms, including exclusivity, secrecy, and a promise of financial support. Defendant asserts that he unequivocally rejected this proposition and sought to distance himself from plaintiff, though his continued presence in the church environment made complete avoidance challenging. These events have had a profound emotional toll on Mr. Youngblood from his impressionable teenage years through adulthood. Defendant has consistently maintained a feeling of betrayal and disillusionment. The spiritual and pastoral role plaintiff held in defendant's life amplified the gravity of plaintiff's misconduct, leaving defendant with lingering trauma and questions about his self-worth and faith. Years later, under the direction of a senior church leader, efforts were made to mend the strained relationship between plaintiff and Mr. Youngblood. Defendant alleges that during a private conversation at this time, plaintiff admitted to inappropriate behavior, attributing it to his own struggles and rising prominence within the religious community. Despite this interaction, defendant states that trust could not be restored. The relationship between defendant and plaintiff has remained tense and marked by distrust, while both parties maintain a professional association due to their roles within their shared religious organization. Defendant asserts that unresolved tensions have persisted due to plaintiff's sexual assault of defendant.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop. What sexual assault?
Attempting to kiss him, then trying to proposition him the next day.
Attempting is an assault. Kissing is assault. And then while we're sitting here talking about,
if it's without consent, yes, you know,
okay,
you can't
but
just entitle yourself.
We're here talking about trust and betrayal, and Duane Youngblood has not been able to be trustworthy, and he's betrayed many young boys in the Pittsburgh area. So
but remember, remember, because I gotta hold you accountable. Will, remember, just like you're saying, Will is going. I mean, not Will, but Duane is going to have to prove his case about Jakes and not all these other individuals. Then the same got to continue to be that theme here, where it don't matter. I mean, it does matter, but it don't matter what Duane has done outside of this situation. He's talking about
that's true
situation.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Nah, whatever.
Baby, it's gonna get thick, like you said. It goes on to read that defendant Youngblood has been rehashing this traumatic encounter since the 1980s. He has not deviated from his assertions, published a book concerning this incident, wrote letters to loved ones discussing this incident, and sought medical treatment concerning this incident and its related trauma. To say that defendant statement is if are these words falling upon a cold, apathetic heart, Will?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, keep reading. This is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Go ahead.
Defendant Youngblood. Okay, so let's go back a little bit because this is interesting. Because if he can prove, and he has claimed, he has affidavits, letters, etc., but he's also saying he sought medical treatment, which I'm going to assume is therapy, etc. If he can galvanize all that evidence, that's going to be interesting, and that's going to make his defense certainly very strong, because
absolutely
it establishes that this wasn't made up in the 21st century. This wasn't something that he just created, in 2024 and came forward about. It's something that has been a long asserted personal truth and narrative of his. So if it's probably in his best interest to galvanize as much information to substantiate all of that for his defense. It goes on to say that defendant Youngblood has been rehashing this traumatic encounter since the 1980s. He has not deviated from his assertions, published a book, To say that defendant Youngblood is conspiring to harm plaintiff Jakes is foolhardy at best and delusional at worst. This is defendant Youngblood's lived experience, which the First Amendment to the United States Constitution affords him the right to openly express. And as I have said, if this actually in fact happened, yes, Duane is entitled to talk about it, podcast about it, turn it into a movie, a commercial, to sell it to Lifetime and Netflix, because it's his personal truth. Even if Jakes looks completely horrendous in that truth, it's nonetheless the truth, and it's Duane's truth, and he is not obligated to protect T.D Jakes.
Right.
It goes on to say, defendant contends that his public statements about plaintiff are rooted in personal experience and a need to confront past harms. He refutes the notion that these statements were made with malicious intent or as part of a broader conspiracy. Instead, defendant positions his actions as an attempt to address and reconcile deeply personal experiences of childhood abuse and betrayal under circumstances that were supposed to provide spiritual and emotional support. Now, here's where he may have some problems. If that's the case, why were you and Tyrone Blackburn allegedly trying to shake Jakes down for $6 million?
Exactly.
Why?
Right. Malicious intent. Malicious intent that he stated there in the sentence, being malicious. Those two is like oil and water. You're saying that you're not trying to do it. You're trying to do this with the best interest of yourself and to save other people, but you and Blackburn trying to shake this man down. Oil and water. I don't know. I don't know.
So now they go into making the argument for why Jake should not be granted an expedited discovery. Thus, expedited discovery is not a matter of right, but an exception that must be justified by clear and compelling circumstances. Plaintiff in this case bears the burden of demonstrating not only the necessity, but also the fairness of departing from standard discovery protocol. Plaintiff's claims are grounded in speculation rather than concrete evidence. The assertion of a conspiracy involving unidentified individuals is unsupported by specific facts or documentation. Courts have consistently held that vague and conclusory allegations cannot serve as a basis for expedited discovery. Then he lists a case law here where the court rejected discovery requests that relied on broad assertions without substantial evidence, emphasizing that good cause requires specificity and factual grounding. The next argument is a lack of immediate or irreparable harm. Plaintiff has not demonstrated that expedited discovery is necessary to prevent imminent harm or irreparable injury. The alleged reputational damage and potential document destruction are speculative and unsupported by any evidentiary basis. He lists a case law here. The court denied expedited discovery where the moving party failed to establish a tangible and immediate risk to the case integrity. He argues that no connection between request and alleged conspiracy. The requested discovery seeks expansive and intrusive information from third parties, yet plaintiff fails to show how these requests are directly tied to resolving the alleged conspiracy. Courts have emphasized the importance of narrowly tailoring discovery to address specific and relevant issues, as seen in case law here, where overbroad discovery requests were deemed improper. Discovery requests are overly broad and burdensome intrusion into third-party privacy. The subpoenas target individuals and entities not directly named as defendants, imposing undue burdens on third parties. These requests seek private communications, financial records, and other sensitive matters without sufficient justification, violating the principles of proportionality and relevance under Rule 26b1. The requested materials are far-reaching and lack any direct connection to the plaintiff's allegations of defamation or conspiracy. He lists a case law here. The court stressed the necessity for narrowly defined and focused discovery requests to prevent undue harm to non-parties. He lists another case law here. Such invasive demands risk overburdening third parties who are tangible to the core claims, this case, and the defendant. So he makes a great point here, a great argument that despite how many times Dr. Reid has been up and down the initial complaint and even the request for expedited discovery, Jakes hasn't even listed Dr. Reid as an official co-defendant. And Jakes is arguing for an expedited discovery based upon speculation. I do feel like Jake's argument was weak. Now, there was a hearing on yesterday. We don't know how strong that argument was, or what they brought to the table, if anything, that was different from their filing. So we don't know what Jake's attorneys argued yesterday in court on behalf of getting the courts the green light. Maybe they did a lot more in that hearing. Maybe they provided a lot more in that hearing. I'm not really sure. But just based upon what we have in the filing, I did feel like it lacked a green light from the court.
Okay.
It is purely speculative. There is no real reason to believe that the parties are destroying evidence, will destroy evidence, etc. And this is just all kind of, I think, Jakes expecting his name to have meant something in this case. Like, this is what I want.
Right.
You know, you do have to argue these things legally. You can't just subpoena people. You can't just dig off into their fucking information just because you want to. You have to have very strong contending arguments for these privileges. Moreover, the potential exposure of personal and financial information creates unnecessary risk and harm to the third party's privacy and reputations. Courts have long recognized the importance of balancing discovery needs against these risks, particularly when the discovery sought does not demonstrate direct relevance or necessity to the claims at issue. Excessive scope relative to allegations. Plaintiff's discovery requests span a broad time frame and include materials unrelated to the core claims of defamation and conspiracy. By seeking expansive categories of documents, including speculative financial motivations and peripheral communications, the plaintiff's approach imposes undue burdens that exceed the permissible scope of discovery. The lack of specificity in the request further compounds their overreach. For example, requests targeting all communication between the defendant and any third party over several months are neither proportional nor tailored to uncovering relevant information. Courts routinely reject such expansive demands, such as case law here. The court required precise and narrowly tailored discovery, cautioning against overbroad requests that effectively operate as fishing expeditions. Then lists another case law where the court denied overly broad discovery requests, where the movement failed to demonstrate a direct and specific connection to the issues at hand. The requests here appear to mirror the impermissible approach, lacking the requiesce focus to justify the burden imposed on both the defendant and third parties. By seeking discovery far beyond the allegations and issues central to this case, plaintiff underscores the speculative nature of their claims and inappropriateness of expedited discovery. In this instance, plaintiff's discovery requests span a broad time frame and include materials unrelated to the core claims of defamation and conspiracy. The lack of specificity to the request further compounds their overreach. Courts routinely reject such expansive demands, as seen in case law here, where the court required precise and narrowly tailored discovery. Here's what's interesting. I wonder if, because if the courts deny Jakes' expedited requests, this actually is what may motivate and move Jakes to go ahead and list Dr. Reid as a co-defendant. Because Tyrone Blackburn is reminding him that your allegations and claims and assertions are very loose and promiscuous, allegedly just like your lifestyle. And and you haven't even listed the third party in question as a co-defendant. Well, Jakes may amend this complaint and do just that, and then take a second swing at expedited discovery. Procedural prejudice to defendant. Allowing expedited discovery at this stage would impose significant procedural burdens on defendant and undermine fundamental principles of fairness in litigation. Premature discovery would force defendant to respond to extensive and intrusive requests without having the opportunity to fully evaluate or challenge the claims against him. This creates an imbalance, prejudicing defendant's ability to mount a proper defense and diverting resources away from addressing the merits of the case. Courts have consistently warned against granting discovery that disproportionately burdens one party while advancing another, particularly when the justification for such expedited measures is speculative, such as case law here. The court emphasized the expedited discovery should not be granted where it risks disadvantaging the defendant or causing procedural inequity. All them case laws there. Further granting expedited discovery risks disrupting the orderly progression of the case by preempting the typical discovery process established under Rule 26. This disruption can lead to inefficient litigation, unnecessary disputes over compliance, and an increased burden on the court, such as in case law here. The court highlighted the importance of adhering to standard discovery timeline to ensure procedural fairness and efficiency. Finally, the scope and nature of the requested discovery amplified the prejudice to defendant. The broad and speculative demands seek to impose obligations far exceeding the requirements of proportionality and relevance, further tilting the procedural balance against defendant. Courts have noted that such tactics undermine the principles of equitable litigation as seen in case laws here. For these reasons, defendant respectfully submits the plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery should be denied to preserve the integrity of the litigation process and to prevent undue procedural prejudice, such as in case law here, where the court denied expedited discovery to prevent undue prejudice to the opposing party, and lists a bunch of other case laws. Defendant's specific requests, plaintiff's requests 1 and 3, and their deficiencies. Plaintiff's requests 1 through 3 seek to establish actual identification of the putative defendants, claiming such information is critical for properly identifying the alleged conspirators. However, these demands are legally implausible, burdensome, and inconsistent with legal precedent in the Third Circuit and the Federal District Court in Pennsylvania. Lack of specificity and factual basis. Plaintiff's motion fails to establish a factual nexus between the sought information and the alleged conspiracy. Courts in the Third Circuit require a movement to demonstrate with specificity how the requested discovery is essential to their claim. In case law here, the court did not expedited discovery where the moving party felt to tie their request to concrete facts supporting claims. Here, plaintiff merely speculates that identifying the putative defendants will advance their case without providing substantial evidence of their involvement in the alleged defamation or conspiracy. Absence of good cause. Expedited discovery is permitted only upon a showing of good cause, which requires a clear and immediate need for the information. Plaintiff's requests 1 through 3 fail to demonstrate how delay in obtaining this information would result in irreparable harm. Courts have repeatedly held the speculative risks, such as the potential loss of evidence, do not satisfy the good cause standards, such as in case law there. Burdensome and overreaching nature of requests, infringement on privacy rights. Requests 1 through 3 seek broad and invasive personal information about the putative defendants, including their identities and potentially sensitive communications. This overreach contravenes established principles of privacy protection. In case law here, the court cautioned against discovery requests that unnecessarily intrude into third-party privacy upon the guise of expedited. Baby, Jake said he don't give a damn, baby. Y'all done got all up in his drawers, all up in his thongs, all up in his motherfucking jock strap, baby, and he want the motherfucking same privileges, baby.
Right.
Scope and burden. These requests impose upon significant burdens on third parties in the court system, requiring the production of extensive information unrelated to the claims at issue. Okay, so they're going on and on and on and on. Failure to meet the Notarose standard. Some courts in the Third Circuit apply the Notarose standard, which requires. You got a lot of noise on your end, Will.
My bad.
Washing those goddamn dishes, baby. You need a man. Which requires a party seeking expedited discovery to demonstrate irreparable harm, a likelihood of success on the merits and a connection between the discovery sought and the harm to be avoided. Plaintiff fails to meet these elements as their claims are speculative and the requested discovery is not narrowly tied to preventing irreparable harm. All right. Presidential guidance against fishing expeditions. Courts consistently reject discovery requests that appear to be fishing expeditions rather than focused inquiries tied to the actionable claims, such as case law here. The court denied a motion for expedited discovery where the requests were overly broad and failed to demonstrate a direct connection to the claims. Plaintiff's requests 1 through 3 exhibit these same deficiencies, seeking broad information without demonstrating its necessity or relevance. Plaintiff's requests 4 through 5 and their deficiencies. Plaintiff's requests 4 through 5 seek to explore the relationship and interactions between the putative defendant and defendant Blackburn over a 3-month period surrounding the publication of the podcast. These requests are legally implausible, overly burdensome, and inconsistent with established legal precedent in the Third Circuit and the federal district courts in Pennsylvania. Baby, Tyrone Blackburn said, baby, you ain't gonna get this motherfucking iPhone. You ain't gonna get this iPhone, girl.
No, sir.
So to establish relevance. Requests 4 through 5 lack a direct nexus to the claims of defamation and conspiracy. Courts in the Third Circuit require a clear demonstration of relevance and necessity for the information sought in expedited discovery. Case law here, the court denied discovery where the plaintiff failed to show how the requested information would substantially advance their claims. Similarly, plaintiff's speculative claim that these interactions might reveal corroborative evidence is insufficient to meet the standard for expedited discovery. All right, another insufficient showing the good cause here, of course, burdensome and overreaching, of course, infringement of attorney-client privilege, excessive temporal and contextual scope, a presidential guidance against fishing expeditious, violation of proportionality principle. The plaintiff's request 6 through 8 and their deficiencies, which are legal implausibility, request 6 through 8, speculative nature of the request, lack of demonstrated need, infringement on third-party privacy, again, disproportionate scope and burdensome. It's just basically a copy and paste, as they pretty much put a fine-tooth comb through Jake's entire motion for a expedited discovery, infringement on privacy and confidentiality, excessive burden on responding parties, failure to meet good cause, etc. Premature. The foregoing arguments make clear that plaintiff requests for expedited discovery are not only legally and procedurally inappropriate, but premature. Here, plaintiff has offered no legitimate reason to circumvent the established 26F conference or any other round of initial litigation. Further, given the frivolous nature of plaintiff's lawsuit, Mr. Youngblood fully anticipates filing a 12B6 motion to dismiss a likely motion for sanctions and, if necessary, an answer in new matter to the complaint, along with any other appropriate requested relief. For these reasons and those discussed in fraud, Mr. Youngblood respectfully asks this court to deny plaintiff's request for expedited discovery on frivolous and premature grounds. So they're going to attempt to sanction Jakes, which makes sense to me because they were already trying to shake his ass down for money. So they have to find a way to get some coin up out of him. And if Jakes has seemingly walked into an opportunity for that to happen, then that may happen. And what this little paragraph is giving me is that they plan to file a actual complaint against Jakes after this is dismissed. What do you think about Youngblood filing a defamation suit against Jakes for defaming him for saying he's lying about the truth?
I see there's no case.
well, there would be a case if the courts ultimately dismiss this lawsuit and deem it as frivolous on Jake's behalf. That does give Duane leverage.
This messy queen is trying to get it where he can get it. He's trying to get it at all angles.
And baby, he got a attorney that is equally of the same mind.
Two queens joking.
Wow. Okay, so because I got some things to say, but in conclusion, it reads: plaintiff's lawsuit is baseless, and the fact will be made abundantly clear to the court in defendant's forthcoming anti-SLAPP motion. Okay, so he plans on filing an anti-SLAPP. Plaintiff is attempting to use the court as a means to stymie defendant's First Amendment rights and to intimidate a third-party YouTube television show host from reporting on legitimate claims of sexual assault and misconduct perpetuated by plaintiff and other members of the clergy. Plaintiff's actions mirror the well-documented abuses by other clergy who have faced lawsuits for using their positions of power to exploit vulnerable and impressionable defendants. The parallels are undeniable, with plaintiff seeking to portray himself as a victim while concealing a troubling history of alleged conduct. This court should not permit plaintiff to misuse the judicial process to silence criticism and suppress truth. In conclusion, T.D. Jakes' motion for expedited discovery lacks the necessary factual foundation and fails to meet the established legal standards of good cause required for such extraordinary relief. The complaint relies on speculative and unsupported allegations, presenting vague claims of conspiracy and harm without any substantiating evidence. Plaintiff's requests for broad and intrusive discovery are disproportionate to the claims at hand and would impose undue burdens on defendant and third parties. Defendant is, in stark contrast, has provided a detailed and substantiated account of his interactions with plaintiff, highlighting the context and motivations behind his statements. These narratives challenge the credibility of plaintiff's claims and underscore the importance of adhering to standard discovery protocols to ensure procedural fairness. Should the court be inclined to grant plaintiff's motion for expedited discovery, defendant respectfully requests reciprocal permission to issue subpoenas to individuals with corroborating accounts of similar misconduct by plaintiff. Such discovery is essential for providing a complete and accurate representation of the facts and for countering plaintiff's claims of defamation and conspiracy. For these reasons, the defendant respectfully requests that the court deny T.D. Jakes' motion for expedited discovery, or in the alternative, grant defendant equal discovery rights to ensure a fair and balanced motherfucking process. Respectfully submitted and signed by that bastard Tyrone Blackburn, Paul E. Ellis of the Brad Esquire law firm. Yes. You were saying, Will?
He has no respect. That's it. I don't see Tyrone Blackburn with an ounce of respect. After you tried to shake this man down, now you're respectfully submitting something. I don't buy it. It sounds great on paper, but he's a grifter. He's a low down mess.
And T.D. Jakes might have given that grifter the ultimate uli op, because if Jakes as if this lawsuit is dismissed, ultimately, if it is dismissed as frivolous, baby, yes, Youngblood is gonna be on his ass like grass.
He has nothing else
because now Youngblood is going to countersue Jakes for pain and suffering, defamation, and he's filing the anti-slap. If the anti-slap is honored by the courts, Jakes will be paying for all of Duane Youngblood's legal fees, court fees, attorney fees, etc., any cost that was accumulated. And it gives not only by Jake suing Duane Youngblood in the hypothetical that it gets dismissed ultimately for being frivolous, it puts Duane in the power seat to be the plaintiff. He not only gets to now have a case against old boy for defaming him and trying to suppress him from telling what it is in fact the truth, but it also gives Duane a second opportunity to bring all of these accusers in to dogpile onto Jake's motherfucking ass.
Yeah.
Jakes opened up a can of worms. Now, what's going to have me shaking well is if Jakes continues to be a bad bitch in this litigation, if he continues to hold his chest out, if he continues to do the Medea titty shake and pow, pow, pow off into the air, and he still wants all the smoke, that's going to be interesting. Because if you now know that there are other people who are coming forward, but you're still going to double down, I wonder what that means about the other people coming forward. If it's all bullshit, And Jakes knows this bullshit because he knows who he is and how he's lived, and he knows damn well that ain't nobody got a goddamn thing on him because he don't, because he ain't about that freak off life.
Right.
Or if Jakes is just that narcissistic and delusional, and sometimes people are just that damn delusional, even when they see the facts coming a mile away.
Right.
But I'm curious to see how the fuck Jakes is going to respond. And we haven't even seen the full response from Duane yet, because he still got to the 26th to file his official response, which I know is going to be nasty work. He already done said in this response to expedited discovery that he already is in talks with other alleged victims, baby. They ready to all
dog pile.
Yeah, they all ready to Chun-Li Jake's ass, baby. Well, I mean, what do you think about all these moving parts? What do you think?
It's explosive. It's
baby, Jake's got it going on. Oh my god.
This is explosive. I mean, it's all or nothing for both sides at this point. They're going to be coming at each other full force. And I'm just surprised that with all this exposure going on social media sites and YouTube and stuff like that, you would think that at least one other person would at least come forward, you know, maybe not your show, but it, you know, well, hopefully your show, because you're the best, but not one person has come, you know, not one other person has come out and made any allegations publicly.
Right.
So, you know, I just find that odd, you know.
Maybe that's because, or maybe the argument there, Will, is that maybe those people have been scared and intimidated, but now that the courts are in it, maybe they feel a barrier of protection, even though they do need to be careful, because if they come forward with anything less than the truth, they also open themselves up to further independent litigation from T.D. Jakes' ass as well.
Exactly.
And I think we got Dr. Reid in the building. Hey, Dr. Reid, they watching and going to use what they can. Some lawyers don't be lawyering. What does that mean, Dr. Reid? I'm going to drop the link for Dr. Reid to come up, child, because y'all, baby, y'all got it going on for Miss 2025, girl. Baby, y'all got it going on for 2025, baby. And I just plan on sitting pretty and reporting live from hell for 2025, baby. Okay, I ain't got no personal hell of my own to be in. I'm just gonna be reporting live from 2025. I mean, reporting live from hell. I just dropped the link for you, Dr. Reid. So they are watching, because everything that I fucking predicted literally became a whole response from Duane's side.
Yeah.
It all became a whole situation. So my question is, Dr. Reid, what do you think about this argument from Blackburn to not grant and green light an expedited discovery? And do you think they made a stronger argument for expedited discovery in the hearing that took place yesterday between Jake's lawyers and the courts? Because we haven't gotten a word back on the situation. We haven't gotten the judge response yet. And now that Blackburn done actually responded, the judge probably is going to wait to deal with this response and internalize this and line whatever took place in yesterday's hearing, along with Tyrone Blackburn's response, and rule afterwards. But I'm so curious now in terms of what the fuck is going to happen. What do you think? Do you think that Blackburn made a great argument for why the court should not grant? Do you think that they're going to grant Jakes an expedited discovery? Will.
talking to me? You talking to?
Yep.
Oh, you talking to me? Yeah, I think Tyrone made a great argument. It's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo there. I'll give you that.
Oh, Dr. Reid in class.
Oh, he's in class. Okay. I think the argument might sway the judge to rule in Blackburn's favor. I think the argument was that good enough that, you know, possibly things could actually go Blackburn's way, and Jakes might be shaking in the boots again. It was a very compelling argument.
There's gonna be some nasty work. Dr. Reid says in class, but I still think Jakes Nim shouldn't have. He absolutely should not have, absolutely not filed, especially if everything Duane said is true, that he have been in conversations with other accusers, and they are ready to come forward and ready to sign affidavits and be witnesses. And now that Duane has asserted this, Jakes now officially knows what he's up against. He knows what is all going to be, what he's going to have to deal with in this situation. And I'm curious to know now, is he going to back out? Is he going to jump to arguments for mediation? Will he drop the motherfucking suit, or is he going to double the fuck down and say, bring it on, Youngblood? I want all the blood.
He's going to double. He's absolutely going to double down on this. The conversation we had before, like I said before, if you remember, I said, if he shows any sign of weakness, if he shows any sign of wanting to mediate, any sign of wanting to back out of this, his reputation is completely on the line. Whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent, he has to go forward with this situation. Even if Jakes knows for a fact that he's lying, and it, you know, and it may come out that Jakes has done all these things, Jakes is not going to back out of this. Whether you're a narcissist or not, narcissism and your whole reputation is on the line at this point. I think Jakes is going to ride this until the wheels fall completely off.
But is that smart, considering the
It
level
may not,
of...
It may not be smart. It may not be smart. But like I said before,
why double down with
because
being someone who got so much to lose? If you know there is just a semblance of truth, just a speck of truth to other individuals having their independent claims, like that's a whole problem. And how do you defend yourself against that if there's truth there? Like, what's going to be the defense? Is this? I do think that Jakes is at a level of fame and belovedness, just like how Tyler Perry survived the whole Christian Keys ordeal last year, when Christian Keys had all that shit going on, and T.D. Jakes and Tyler Perry's name came back up again, and Tyler Perry was getting dragged from him to Timbuktu. T.D. Jakes, I mean, not T.D. Jakes, Tyler Perry survived all of that, even though it didn't obviously get as far as this did, and Christian Keys didn't even officially state Tyler Perry's name, but he gave enough damn Easter eggs and context clues for that to be the case. But
I think these are two different animals, though. I mean, the Christian Keys and the Tyler Perry situation, it was more of a bunch of implications. Like you said before, Tyler Perry's name wasn't thrown out there, but there were Easter eggs. We're not talking about Easter eggs here. We're talking about turkey dinners. They're throwing, you know, Tyler Youngblood and his accusers. This is something totally different. We're not throwing Easter eggs out here. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're throwing Christmas dinners.
But do you think that Jakes could survive it? Because
no,
you just said, I think that Jakes will mediate. He must, because no way he will admit same gender loving behavior. And that's the part about it. It's like, what is Jakes going to do with that part of it? Because if anything, even if the situations with the alleged other accusers don't take off in terms of them being victims. If there's proof, at the very least, is going to show that T.D. Jakes is on the sexual spectrum. And I'm curious to know, how the fuck is he going to navigate that? And how is he going to speak to that? And how is his brand going to handle that reality?
This will not be good. This man just got back in his pulpit last Sunday past, and
so
you saw what happened.
That Jake's gonna end up in a wheelchair again then in order to deflect.
I think they might do that.
That's what the hell I would do, baby. Pass right the hell on out. I'm in hospice in a coma for 3 weeks. I'm gonna be so broken. I'm gonna be so big backed. I'm gonna be so suffocated. I'm gonna be so tore up in my health, baby, that I'm gonna pour all of the empathy toward myself and then just wait it out long enough to where I feel like folk done forgot and all they want to do is celebrate the fact that I done lived to see another damn day. Jake is preparing to fall the hell out of that wheelchair again, baby. When all the teeth come spilling out, baby, and he gonna hit the floor this time, baby.
Yeah.
Larry says he could have not said anything and wrote this out. It's too late for not saying anything now. His brand was strong enough for that. Yeah, because it's not like the Youngblood thing really. It wasn't any more damaging, in my opinion, than all of the assertions that he was a part of the whole Diddy camp. So I really feel like he could have allowed it to slide. But I can see now from the way that Jakes is moving that Jakes is tired because he's also coming after Google to get information about other YouTube accounts that have been publishing very salacious narratives about him. So Jakes seems to be personally over it and is invested in cleaning up his reputation. He might have dropped the ball, though, in this particular situation with Youngblood because it does open a can of worms. And Youngblood don't have anything to lose because he's already a registered sex offender. His T is already outside. I mean, he can't look any worse than what his past already has him looking. It's really Jakes that stands a lot to risk. But if Jakes is willing to go toe-to-toe with this, man, Jakes is basically going to be posturing himself to say that he's innocent against all things that these accusers are saying. And that's going to be interesting to see who comes out on the winning end of that, because either those accusers are going to be exposed for just, I don't know, maybe for being liars, I don't know, or maybe at very best just gruntled ex-concubines, maybe. I'm not really sure what.
I'm sure at this particular point that Jakes' lawyer has gotten him in the room and said 3 words, "Are you sure?" You know, he just, I'm sure they've had these talks like, there's other people that's coming out against you. Are you sure there's nothing else that could possibly come out? I'm sure they've already had these talks. And Jakes probably said, put the pedal to the metal. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Because he's going to probably press on. So.
Shout out to my baby father, Todd, for the answer child support check. And he says, for facts, all Duane needs is one victim to be factual. If there's one person who has some pretty grounded objective T, Jakes might regret playing on this Monopoly board. It ain't gonna be good for Jakes.
Well, I'm sure whatever he's going to do, he's doing with a conscious and clear mind. So if he fucks up, he knows he's going to fuck up going through with this with a conscious mind. Maybe he's thinking about his brand. He's thinking about his reputation. This is a whole lot to be lost here. So I think he's just going to he has a lot to lose.
He does.
So he can either do one thing. He can either bow down and go to mediation, and then his reputation is going to be lost. No one wants to hear that he bowed down. The black community, especially the black religious community, is highly homophobic for the most part. And he has a lot to lose messing around with black people, their black dollars, their black faith, their black Jesus. He will be known as a homosexual, which is not a bad thing to be when you're
possibly
out.
Possibly worse depending on those damn allegations.
Okay. Well, that's his fault for not wanting to live outwardly and proudly like us. It don't take that damn much courage to be out and to be proud. This is 2025. This is not 1985 when we were younger and stuff like that. This is a brand new day. Come the hell out and be a man. It takes a man to say, I am gay. This is me. This doesn't define me, but this is who I am. This is why a lot of stuff that's going on right now, download shit been going on around for a long damn time. I'm sorry to get off topic, but people aren't living their authentic truth. And now this situation is because you chose not to live your truth.
Who? Jakes?
Yeah, and this is starting to piss me off.
Dr. Reid said that somebody has some proof. It just ain't Duane, and that is an issue for Jakes. That's why they want to rush discovery. That's why he's fishing. And look, I was even saying, I think in a previous conversation in a previous live stream that Jakes, I was actually saying this to St. James when he pulled up. I was saying, look, Jakes could be trying to expedite discovery because he's trying to get intel as early as possible about all of the key players, whether it be other co-conspirators or other alleged accusers, etc., because he could start paying people down in the background. He just is using this litigation to fit. So what is the strategy? Because we still early on in this litigation from Jakes, that Jakes is simply using the Duane Youngblood situation to fish out everybody that is disgruntled, and then is going to rectify that on the back end, and then ultimately mediate this situation into silence with Duane, because they only use the Duane situation to see who all is ready to jump ship on Jake's ass. That's why it's called a fishing expedition. And that's more than likely what Jake's ass is doing. Right.
He's waiting for the names. He's waiting for the names to come out on the hook.
Identifications, because he needs to see who the fuck has been compromised, who the hell is upset, who's mad, who ain't Team Jakes, so that he can start playing chess behind the scenes and resolving those things. And that's the only reason he sued Duane, is to enter into that and to get a hold of all of that information. And then we'll just, once again, mediate this situation down into silence. Because there ain't no way that Jakes, I ain't gonna say there ain't no way. Because I also, because I've been entertaining every train of thought here. Like Jakes could be just tired and fatigued. He's old. He's fragile. He don't want to go to hell. His health is terrible. Maybe he's ready to. These are my confessions. Just when I thought I can. Like he's ready to give that up because maybe somewhere in him he has been dealing and battling with secrecy and shame and guilt, and on some type of an unconscious level, he's ready to come to terms with those things and just deal with those things. And which could make sense too, because Jakes has lived his prime. So really, I can imagine Jakes being like, look, I don't care if I get canceled. I don't care if the truth comes up and out. I'm old as hell at this point, baby. I'm not You know, like I'm in an electric scooter. You know, I'm in the hospital every other damn month. I done live the best of my fame. I done live the best of my money. I done live the best of it. So if I gotta sit my ass down because the truth finally comes to the light, and that comes with the consequence of me having to step down from the pulpit, then hell, I'm ready to retire any goddamn way. I got enough money stored up and put away and invested in escrow and everything else to just still be a rich ass quiet nigga. And that can work for me. That could be happening too. That's probably that probably falls within a small percentile of what's really happening. I mean, that could be there, but more than likely what's really happening is Jakes as is using the lawsuit to fish out everybody that's upset with him so that he can go ahead and soften all of that behind the scenes and keep that all suppressed and quiet and well, and he can move on. That does really explain why he's moving so hasty and moving so fast in the ass with all of this. Andrew says that's exactly what's going on. Duane is not a sympathetic character, so why not use him to get at those who may have the credibility needed to be successful legally and publicly, period. Now CTV, he got an ego. I can't see him admitting, so he got to look like he's fighting. Well, he might not be fighting for that much longer. You know, with him now knowing what's ahead, and I think that Jakes don't want to make it to a standard discovery, because the case would have gotten too far by then. He might have wanted to. The plan was to pull out as soon as possible, escalate discovery, so we can get in, get intel, get the information, and either start paying niggas down or killing their asses. Paying their ass down or killing these motherfucking niggas.
Right.
Either way, we need to identify said. So, Dr. Reid, you need to remain in gated communities.
Right.
Duane, you need to go pooch his ass up to a gated community in the sky. And all the rest of these goddamn whores and concubines that Duane is talking to on the side, baby, they better be ready, baby, to go into hiding, baby, because Jake's either about to be allegedly cutting checks or about to start capping niggas. So, baby, things can get real dark, okay? Now, Duane is the one who said in one of his responses, girl, that Jake's done put niggas under and then laid niggas down like Michael Myers. So I hope Duane is keeping that in mind, baby. Okay? Right. Tyrone Blackburn ass better go into hiding and be in a gated situation and all of that, because, baby, if T.D. Jakes is if he is the junior mafia of the damn church world, if he is the Donald Trump of Christianity, of the black church world, then yes, things. Some people could come up stinking.
Yep.
Do you think there's any truth to that? Do you think that Jakes has put a hit out on people? Do you think he's had people taken out?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, come on now. Only thing that we can do is guess. You know, do I think he could do something like that? Yes, with all the money that he has, the reputation that he has. When you have money and reputation like that, there's always some goons that are willing to go ahead and do your dirty work. You know what I mean? And I believe that with the money that he has, if he needs a goon or two to take care of that dirty work, I think that's possible. I don't know. I think that Jakes is a homosexual, but I don't believe.
Do you think he's a bisexual or a homosexual? Like, you think he's just fully same gender loving and using Martha Jakes as a beard?
Yeah, he's a homosexual. They've had.
So you don't think he has any sexual attraction to women?
No.
Well, how he got his kids? He gotta be somewhere on the spectrum, even if it's like 5% straight. Right? I mean, right?
Listen,
I mean,
how
he
many?
gotta
How
have
many?
some sense about sexuality.
Yeah, I mean,
unless
okay.
his wife had got it from him while he was unconscious.
But I mean,
I can see Jake being straight. I mean, it's a lot of soft niggas who heterosexual. It's a lot of like effeminate men,
of
maternal,
course,
who got like motherly energy.
Of course,
who straight.
Of course.
I mean, if Prince could convince y'all that he was heterosexual, certainly Jakes can.
Right.
I don't think Jakes is heterosexual either. I'm not sure if he's entirely homosexual though.
He's been with Sarita all this time. They've been together since they were super young. So basically, she's been the only person that he's been with, you know what I mean, since they were in their early 20s up until now. They've been together like 40-something years. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he didn't stray from her to be with another woman. You know what I mean?
No, that would be an interesting plot twist.
You're right. In a parallel universe.
If Jakes had them female hoes in different area codes, that would be an interesting plot twist.
I just don't see him. I just don't see him like bedding some woman like, yeah, baby, let me give you some of this. I don't see him, you know, I don't see him finessing some woman like, yeah, let me take you in the room, let me show you what. No. I see him bent over some bed somewhere.
I can see both. I can see him bending over and doing the bending. I can see Jakes. Cause you know what? You're talking to like somebody who's like, I'm like the king of the LGBT world. So, you know, like in our community, we got femme tops. We got like trans women who top. You know, who top. So, you know, I'm not as like shallow am I thinking when it comes to men with femininity, because I know like people can be very compartmentalized in there. Like you could operate somewhere in your mannerisms more femininely and then be dominant sexually. So I can and you know the type of energy that Jakes get, like he gives me like Santa Claus like energy. Like Santa Claus is seemingly heterosexual, but there is something very also maternal and just like gentle about Santa to where I can't see him fucking the shit out of Mrs. Claus and procreating, but even though that's clearly the case, because he's just so jolly good fellow. But Jake kind of reminds me of that energy, like a very like jolly good fellow vibe. But I can see the nigga definitely being same.
He reminds me of plenty of the men that we've seen in our lifetime. How many men have you seen before that they come out in their 40s and in their 30s and in their 50s after being in a long ass marriage, you know what I mean, where they married this woman just to go ahead and make appearances. And in between the time that they got married until the time they come out, they'll creep on their wives with other men. You know, just because you had sex with the woman to make your kids doesn't make you bisexual.
And he would have came out way before this, because he has to know what we all know. You can't trust these hoes. Like if there is tea to be spilled, it's going to be spilled. So I wish he would have got in front of his tea way before his whoever these accusers are were able to do it for him. Like you always kind of want to stay in the driver's seat when it comes to your truth. Once other people do it for you, it's harder to come behind that.
Well, Jakes knew he was going to be somebody, and he knew it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm sorry. Jakes knew that he was going to be somebody, and in the days where he was coming up, you know, as far as like coming out to become this big preacher, that was like the 80s and the 90s. That was a time when, you know, homosexuality was kind of, you know, more shunned than now. And he knew that if he was going to make it to this big position in life, that he was going to have to do something. And that was marry a woman. You just couldn't come out the closet waving your flags and stuff in the 80s and the 90s. You just couldn't do that.
I mean, unless you were really a bad bitch.
Right. Like me and you, but we're not talking about me and you.
Well, it's also been rumored that him and his wife have an understanding. Do you believe that there's an understanding, that they have a contract?
Yeah,
that she
absolutely.
is aware.
They seem more like good girlfriends. They seem like good Judys more than husband and wife. You know.
So how do you think she's going to survive that? Because there's no way to injure Jakes without injuring her. And she now stands the risk of being exposed, because what if some of these alleged, because I don't know who these accusers are, if they are concubines, if they are boyfriends, if they are men who have been sexually, emotionally, romantically tied to Jakes, then for all we know, I mean, they may be willing to come forward and blow the whole lid back and expose the fact that Jakes and his wife have an understanding, that she's a beard. Maybe she might even be aware of some of these niggas. Like, and how is the church, how is the Potter's house going to handle that? Because that's going to be some scandalous shit.
Yeah.
That both of them been participating in a alternative life behind the veil of their public personas.
Let's put it this way. The things that we know that's tangible between him and Manasseh, you know, she knows about that. So I'm sure she knows a whole lot more. In the 40 years that they've been married, he hasn't been able probably to, you know, go out on her without her knowing. He's too big. He's too high profile. He had to say something to her like, hey, baby, you know, this is the situation, or hey, we need to have an understanding, because he had too much to lose. Anyone that he came in, any man that he may have come in contact with, you know, they're liable to go right before that church service, right there on Sunday morning, and say, hey, I did it with him. You know, he had too much to lose just to be out here, you know, just throwing it loose and wide and everything, and not have his wife not know about it.
Risa says if Jakes would have came out, the Potter's house would cease to exist, or a new pastor would take the hymn. No way he was coming out. It depends. He could pull a Youngblood. He could pull a Tyler Perry even. You know, I was abused. I, you know, have been the M word or the R word. I, as a result, battled with my perception of myself and my identity as a result. And I went through a lot of trauma as a young person, as a young man, trying to unpack my experiences. So he could have articulated in a way that still, where he didn't put a label on it, but he could have like set up the situation in a way to where if he would have said all that I just said, and then let's say 10 years later, some shit came out about him being a Team Rainbow, that wouldn't have been as shocking, considering that it would be like anchored and supported by the fact that he's been open about his abuse. He's been open about struggling as a result of his trauma as a young person. He seemed like that would have gave him enough ground for him to, for whatever came out later, to have a standing ground, unless the only thing that will harm him is if these hoes are recent.
Yeah.
He would have had to set it up to make sure that there was no separation between church and Jakes.
Right.
Once he knew who the fuck he was in God. But that any timeline before that, it could have been supported if he would have articulated and PR'd his situation the right way. Because I feel like that's what Tyler Perry did by talking about his molestation. I feel like he was setting it up for in case these hoes get loose, in case I cut these hoes off, or or these hoes get mad because I got another hoe, or whatever. If any of these hoes get disgruntled, baby, and it come out that Tyler is all Perry, then you know it wouldn't be as shocking, because for some reason we still live in a like very ignorant society when it comes to how sexuality works, and most people will excuse gayness if it is birthed out of abuse. Even growing up as LGBT myself, I saw a lot of like homophobic Black families kind of make the exception for the homosexual in their family if that homosexual had a abuse story, if that homosexual had a molestation story, then they kind of weren't as hard and weren't as openly judgmental if that was the context.
Well, see, we don't know that's Jake's story. Every gay person hasn't had sexual abuse. Some of us are just gay.
I'm one of them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And being abused doesn't constitute being gay. There's plenty of straight men out there who were molested by men who are still straight. You know, and that's a misconception that I believe the straight community does have. They automatically think that when you're gay, you were abused, and that's not the case for everyone. And we don't know Jake's story. And at the same time, Jake's story would be more. We would feel more compassion for him had you not taken this to court and then turned around and said, "Oh, well, this is my story afterwards." They're not going to go for that. They're going to say, "Hey, you went to court about this stuff, and now you want to turn back and say, oh, my abuse, my abuse." And number 3, Jakes is too old for all this. He's already suffered health setbacks over and over and over again. By the time this case is over with, he's going to be tired. And his health might not, if these allegations come out to be true, and, you know, he may not survive physically. We're not talking about financially and mentally. This may kill this man. So he needs to think about this really, really good. If he has to mediate for his health and for the saneness of his family and friends that he cares about, go ahead and do that. But at the same time, you're going to reap what you sow. But for his health's sake, he needs to think about what he's doing very carefully. Because this might not cost him financially or mentally. This could cost this man his life.
Can everybody hear? Hey, Knockout. Can everybody hear? I'm not gonna say the sound went out.
Oh.
It might have just been your sound that went out because I can hear everything.
Okay.
Can everybody hear? Give me a 1 in the chat that you guys can hear. Give me a 1 in the chitter chat. Oh, it came back. Okay. All right. Are we good? Oh my God. This is very action-packed. I cannot wait to see what happens, because we're going to be able to extract data every time either party makes a move. It's going to help us to predict even more where this is going. So we got to hear back from the judge regarding the ruling, or whether they're going to expedite. Dr. Reid, are you prepared for them damn subpoenas? Are you prepared for that invasion of privacy, baby? Because if the courts grant Jakes that, what do you think about that, Will? If they honor Jake's request for an expedited discovery?
I think all shit's gonna hit the fan. That's it. All shit's gonna hit the fan. Regardless, this has become a very, very messy situation. Just a couple of shows ago, we were laughing and joking. It was all lighthearted and stuff. This is starting to get really, really serious. You know?
Is it? Is it getting real serious?
It's getting real serious. It's getting real serious. And you know, at this point, I'm thinking about his health again. You know, he's not getting
Jakes. I think Jakes got some damn health issues, but I do not think they are to the point where his ass be needing to be hospitalized. I think that whole shit was for show. And that whole shit was for the sake, because they put that health scare right in that damn lawsuit the day after he fell out. And then the lawsuit went up. Like, it was all too timely and convenient. I obviously, like, he looks unhealthy. He looks like he should have some health, some, you know,
His skin
he could be pre-diabetic, hypertension, high cholesterol, you know, I mean, and no telling what's all going on. You know, he got a big back problems, but I don't think to the damn point, because Jakes is also too rich to be falling the fuck out. He is under the best medical care. He's on the best meds. He is a man of privilege. So there's just no way that his health is to that level. That is that raggedy.
We don't know what he's eating.
No, once again, I'm not saying he don't got no health. I'm saying I believe he got health issues. I just don't believe that they are critical to that point.
Right.
That whole falling out, and then ironically, you're able to hold yourself up as everybody else runs to your aid. And you happen to be sitting down while you are fading into oblivion. Like, it was all too perfectly centered. It was all too perfectly timed. You know, it was sitcom timing. Sitcom timing.
We don't know.
And he can't be under too damn much stress if he knows that opening up a lawsuit could bring on just like much more of that, because he had to know that, look, between what Jakes know that Dr. Reid knows, and then the fact that he had to know if opening up a litigation with Duane could bring in not only Dr. Reid, but bring in God knows whomever else. Like, you had to go in knowing that this wasn't just going to be about Duane. It just wasn't going to be about him. And if you didn't want no stress because you were already under stress, then this wasn't a way to
alleviate
your stress and to get into your soft girl era. These were not the actions, baby, that were going to lead to your soft girl era, baby. Okay, baby. See, the next out here about to have a hot girl winner, and not no damn soft girl. I'm what it looks like when you in the soft girl era. This is soft girl era, baby. No stress, all smiles. Porcelain is shining, baby. We got 99 blessings and one more coming. Okay, this is what a soft bitch era gives, baby. Okay, this is soft bitch era. Okay, what Jake's got going on, baby? That's hot girl summer energy.
Oh my God,
that is hot girl summer energy, baby. Mother or two says you don't think stress could have nope. I mean, of course it can, but I'm saying that if Jakes was already under stress, suing Duane wasn't going to lead to more peace. Like, because he had to be smart enough to know that, like Dr. Reid been saying this whole time, it can open up a can of worms. And if Jakes is aware that his closet is full of thongs and full of women's panties and fishnets and gowns and beautiful dresses, baby, then it ain't no way in hell he didn't tally that up when he thought about what could be the potential risk and what could be the potential consequences of opening up this thing. And once again, specifically because Duane is sitting next to Dr. Reid. Dr. Reid, who is adjacent to Prophet Manasseh. Dr. Reid, who has made it known publicly that he's aware of some things. So, given all those things, if Jake still filed suit, it wasn't because he's avoiding stress. This is about something else. And it's seemingly about Jake's maybe paranoid for good reason, that there's been compromise in his camp and he's been given some intel or some insight about something's going on that has risen his alert, aside from just Duane's claims against him publicly. And he took this opportunity to see what the rumbling is all about, because there could be more Duane's on the way, and using this litigation to identify all of the pending parties so that he could mitigate privately with those people, and then simmer this down on the front end with Duane, because you know that Duane really don't want that work. He really don't want that smoke. He really don't want to be in this position. So he knows that it'll be easy to like cap this with Duane. However, if that's what T.D. Jakes is doing, he's also going to have to figure out a way how to really quiet Duane, because as a result of T.D. Jakes suing, did you come up again, Will?
Hello?
It's another Will in the backstage. It's not you?
No.
Oh, I don't know who this. Well, hold on. It had to be you, because you don't remember who got the link. Oh no, I put the link in the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe that was a Duane coming up here trying to be a psyop. But if that's what Jakes is doing, he's also going to have to figure out a way to quiet Duane in a real way, because as a result of him opening up this lawsuit and challenging what Duane is saying is true, and if what Duane is saying is true, if the courts dismiss this case, that is going to give Duane an actual case of defamation.
Yes.
Because Jakes used his power, his platform, his privilege to come for him about the facts, and he did have to deal with the backlash. He had to deal with Jake's family seemingly threatening him. He had to deal with taking time out of his life to litigate this matter. He's already let it be known in his previous response that he working part-time. He ain't got no money like that. He was already struggling to retain representation legally. And so now he got his own pain and suffering case. And if somewhere in Duane, he wanted money, which goes back to the whole plot to begin with between Tyrone and Duane to shake Jakes down with $6 million, then the only way Jakes is going to be able to keep Duane off his neck ultimately is if he pays him out.
Right.
He's going to have to pay him out, especially if the courts dismiss this shit.
Right.
You're going to have to pay him out. Or else, like, Duane is going to take his opportunity to get paid, because that's what he was trying to do to begin with.
Right.
So this is going to be interesting. It's a lot of motherfucking moving parts and a lot of like agendas and it's just like a lot of shit going on.
Right.
This shit could go so many damn different ways. It's so many possibilities and so many things at work, at stake. Hey, Style by Stevie. Hey, boo. You make me sick with you so gorgeous serving. Naomi Campbell. Thank you, baby. I've been seeing you put in that work, honey, on Instagram, honey. Y'all subscribe to my girl Style by Stevie on Instagram, honey. She with the interview style. It's time for us to do another interview, honey. You need to pencil me in, child. I need to hit the Style by Stevie platform again, honey. We talk about it. I'm down with it. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Any final words, Will, in terms of any thoughts?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great show, and we had a great talk. But at the end of the day, that's all it's going to come down to until we find out exactly what's going to happen as far as the process of the court situation. We can make all the allegations we want. You know what I'm saying? We can choose what path this is going to go. But we don't know until the wheels start turning. And it makes for great conversation. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we have to wait for the wheels of justice to turn. and to see exactly where this is going to go, because we're only left with speculation, which is for great and salacious TV. But at the same time, we just have to sit back and wait.
Just commentating, because I don't do things for salacious reasons, you know, but just for
Of course,
good
not you.
commentating, good commentating.
Right.
It's just good commentating.
Right. It's very entertaining. But what's going to be more entertaining is once the story begins to unravel.
Hell yes.
If we get to see exactly what's going to happen, who's going to come out, who's going to mediate.
Because Will, if your ex-boyfriend, if your alleged ex-boyfriend can prove this situation with Jakes, if he can prove that this shit took place, if he got all his paperwork and affidavits and letters, and he got all his witnesses, and he got all this and all, baby, that even that situation alone is interesting. Like that becomes an interesting thing in this whole ordeal.
Right. We just have to sit back and wait, Chauncey's.
Yeah.
That's it. We just have to sit back and wait.
Well, we patient, baby.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I want to see exactly where this is going to go. And
okay, so the question to you was, what do you want to see happen?
I want to see. Jake seems like a good guy. Mm-hmm. You know, being gay don't make you bad. You know what I mean? He seems like a person. He seems like a nice guy, and I want to see him win. I'm not saying I don't want to say I'm Team Jakes. I just want to see him win. You know.
Do you want to see a Duane win as well?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because I don't like him.
But what is the difference between Duane and Jakes if Jakes is redeeming himself from a hypothetical past? Duane, does he get an opportunity to redeem himself from his hypothetical, from his actual past?
Being gay doesn't constitute jail and being put on the sex offender list. You know, Duane has done unspeakable things to other people's children, not adults. That's the whole thing with me. That's why I came out on your show. I am not a victim. I was grown when I met this man. You know what I mean? So I remember people asking on the show, you know, how old was Will? Was he there? No, I'm not a victim. I was a willing participant. We're talking about victims here. We're talking about children that were not of age that this man was molesting. There's two different things.
Okay. Well, do you think like all criminals, that those type of criminals can grow, can redeem themselves, that they too are qualified for the forgiveness of the kingdom of God, that they should and with a Duane kind of paying his dues to society, serving his time, etc.
You robbed the innocence of children. I was a victim of child molestation. I'm 47 years old and I'm doing great. But I will never forget being violated as a child. No amount of success or money or family or friends or anything tangible you can get in this world can never negate the fact that you were violated by a grown-ass man when you were a child. I just don't think there's a seat at the kingdom for anyone who does things like this, and to do it repeatedly, but then to get on your knees and ask God on the day of judgment to forgive you. I don't see it. And scientifically, most child molesters, it's in your head. It's a mental thing. It's like how you like men and I like men and women like men and men like women and women like women. It's a mental thing. You like children. You can't erase that from your head. It's what you prefer. You may be able to stop yourself from doing it, but it will always be in your mind.
What if it's not
fucking man?
What if it's not about children more so than it is about power and children for predators just being convenient prey? Like it's just that they're the most vulnerable, which makes them the most ideal
Got you.
prey for a predator. But it's not about an attraction per se to children, but just a warped sense of power, narcissism, sociopathicness.
I don't think God will approve that either. God won't approve that either. There's no excuses when it comes to that. There's no excuse our opinion may or may not matter, but there's one.
So according to psychologists, a lot of P words are victimized themselves, which of course Duane is also saying he was filtered through the religious system himself and with inappropriate, which is consistent with a lot of abusers.
I hear that, but I was abused too. And I hate kids. I can't say no. I don't care what psychologists say, unless the psychologist has done it themselves.
And let me make this clear. For anybody who might get it fucked up and confused in the chat, this is not an excuse. We're talking about context.
Right.
Explanations are not exonerations. This is why these areas are areas of actual study, because there's a context for why people are the way that they are, and that context does matter because it helps us to understand the phenomenon, and it helps us to prevent this phenomenon. But you can't prevent something that you don't understand. And if being abused creates or leads to a mutation in consciousness as a result, or it stunts a person's development. Once again, these are all things that we can use as a society to raise our concern and awareness, and to make sure that we're being very much so intentional about our care for young people, so that they don't end up in situations where they are taking advantage of. Some of this loose ass parenting could come to a halt if you understand that not only could your child be induced with trauma just from the experience, but it also could put them on a very dark path. Just like in Royce Reid's situation, a basketball wives, her son allegedly was abused by his dad's brother, and then as a young person, he started M-wording other young people, and the courts had to get involved and tell him to stay away from kids 2 years younger than him. Like he couldn't be around and have contact with kids who were 2 years younger than him. And he was going through this as a young, like this wasn't something he was doing as a grown man. He was like, I think 14, 13. Look at a Nicki Minaj brother. He was a teen. I forgot how old he was. He was actually abusing his stepsister or another family member who was a child as well. I mean, so when we understand what this is, not only does it help us to prevent this and hopefully help us to be more protective of young people, but also it could help us to develop remedies to treat this condition, because at the end of the day, our criminal justice system is not locking these people up away for their life, which means that these people come back into society. They get reinstated back into communities, just like Youngblood is reinstated back into the community. So how do you rectify that? How do you help? Like what, and science and psychologists are working on all type of shit as it relates to their studies of the P word and all of that shit. But the why is important. And if all things can, because here's the thing, Will, people can control per se what they feel or what their impulses are, but they can control what they do. Youngblood may whatever this phenomenon is in him, whether it's a power thing, however he experiences it as an attraction, or however it personifies itself in his being, he may not ever be able to stop, per se, the impulses that compel him to do things he has done in the past, but he can develop the power to be disciplined and to resist those impulses and or urges.
You know what?
I always say there are a lot of P words in our world right now who have that condition but have never acted on it. They have lived with that condition their whole life, never actually acted on it, and never hurt or violated any young person.
Right. And Youngblood is different than Royce Reid's son. This is a grown-ass man who, by the time he was still doing this, he had a wife and children of his own. Knowing that he was abused and stuff like that, you would still choose to inflict on somebody and then chalk that up to a character deficit. I just don't.
But the question still is, well, what is he supposed to do as a free man? Because he's now a free man. So he does need to go on into a better day, because we damn sure don't want him to continue to be who he was, right? So what's the alternative? What's the alternative?
I don't have no hope. I don't have no hope for that man.
You don't think he is capable
he's
of change?
He'll be able. You ain't going to change. He'll be able to repress. I'm sure he's repressing what he's doing, but his mind is still the same. You know,
and that might be all that he can do, because
that's all he can do, because he's a snake, man. I met this man. I saw this man. This man was stepping on his own wife. You know,
but see, like, that's something separate though, like from the condition. It's a lot of people who not P words who cheat us.
Right.
So he seemingly has a plethora of character issues and issues around the sex and self-control and impulse control. Like, there's some issues there for sure. Allegedly.
He definitely has impulse control. You know, you're willing to have sex in your own office. That speaks volumes about what other types of sexual immoral things that you're willing to do. To do that in the house of God. And you know me, I'm not even religious. But that situation between me and him, that struck me so hard, because that just said to me, if you're willing to do something like that, you're willing to do anything. You're standing on God, but you're also standing on his toes and stepping on his toes in his own house. When you could have took me to your house.
Took you to God's house.
Right. It speaks volumes about your character. Right. Pull that hair, or lack thereof.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So then, what you think should happen with people who commit these offenses?
They should be castrated. They should be chemically castrated.
Chemically castrated. Okay.
Yeah. Not physically castrated, but they should all be chemically castrated. I'm not here to have your shit cut off, but I'm here to take that away from you. And chemical castration does, but at the same time, there's still people who are chemically castrated who can't work with that down there, who still sexually offend.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah. It ain't gonna stop offending, because you don't need your genitals to offend.
Exactly, but you need some type of punishment. And the worst thing you could do to a man is take away his sexual prowess. You know, it works for sexual castration works. Chemical castration works for a lot of people. You know, if you look at the studies, a good amount of people do not offend again after they do that big snip.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't see any hope for this man. This man was methodical about what he was doing. He chose to pick people from his own congregation, people that he was supposed to be counseling, and chose to use them for his own benefit. That's not, oh, I made a mistake, I was abused, and there's this one guy, he was just so cute, I just couldn't help myself. I was counseling him, and that just happened. No, sir. You were going through the audience, picking them like flowers for Easter. You know,
Methodical.
He was praying. He was praying.
Right. Methodical.
Yeah.
Methodical. That's my whole thing. This wasn't a one and done. Oh Jesus, I'm sorry. This is
so you think that he's still a danger to society even right now? As a free man,
I can't say that. I can't say that.
I mean, hell, you might as well, because that's what you're arguing, really. You saying he ain't changed. It ain't no hope for him. He ain't been castrated. He ain't been chemically castrated. So therefore, that could only conclude the fact that you would think that to this day, he is still a threat.
He's a danger to society. Especially if he get a couple of $1 million. He could
Well, he been doing a lot worse without millions. So it don't take millions.
Right.
For him to be on bad behavior per se. But I'm just asking you, because you're saying all that you're saying, that then you must believe that he's still currently a danger to society.
Not an imminent danger, but yeah, as long as you have that in your mind, that is your attraction. Unless you're going to seek counseling. When you offend like that, you have to go to counseling all the time. All the time. Are you doing your counseling? Are you just can't get out of jail and think that everything is okay. It's active counseling until the day you die. And I don't think I don't know, but I don't think that man goes to no damn counseling. This is just speaking.
He said he's been to counseling. I would hope that the courts also mandated it at some point, at least.
Extensive counseling. Extensive.
And extensive counseling, especially under these circumstances.
Yeah,
I would hope it was an extensive counseling.
Right. Extensive meaning as of right now, your ass to be sitting in a chair spilling your guts as we speak right now. You got to put in the work in order for this thing to work.
So if you find out that Jakes has done similar stuff, it's the same attitude?
Absolutely.
Because you said earlier ago that you believe that he's a good guy and you want to see him win. But
I believe.
But if you find out some things.
Yep. He's lumped into everything else. I was abused. That is something, it leaves an indelible mark on the facts of your life. Indelible. You know what indelible means. You can't wipe it off. You can't scrub it off. It's something that's always there. No one should have to go through that. And when you're abused, you just have no type of sympathy for the abuser. I might be wrong, but once you're abused, you don't have no hope for the person that abused you. And when you're abused,
I've talked to a lot of abuse victims, including members of my family. A lot of them are willing to forgive and even can bring themselves to still be in relationship, especially if their abuser was a member of the family, was a sibling, was even a parent sometimes. So it's different for every person.
It's different from the situation. Right. I just, as far as Duane's concerned, I don't wish nothing good for him. I don't wish nothing bad for you.
But you don't feel like there is no punishment that can really fit that crime. Yeah, because like you said, probably aside from the death penalty, I'm sure, but yeah, because like you said, it's a stilling of innocence. It creates too much of a catastrophe in the mind and the psychology of the victim, and it's just something that the victims have to live with for their whole lives.
It's like this. You paid your time, but the person that's abused has to pay for the crime forever. While you go and do your couple years, the person that's abused doing life. People can't function in relationships. People can't function sexually. You know what I mean? People gravitate towards sexual behavior that's not of the norm. A lot of people, statistically, scientifically, a lot of people that are abused, they expose themselves to deviant sexual behavior. Where a lot of them like to be put in a situation where they're reacting out the abuse, but with another partner. It messes you up mentally, physically, sexually. And then you have to deal with that for your whole entire life while you're out there saying, hey, I paid my time, I did my time. You still have people that are paying for the rest of your life. And
Yeah, it's a fucked up state of affairs, man.
Yeah, we ain't laughing now.
But Jakes might have Uli-opt himself and put him in a position to get that $6 million one way or the other. It's gonna be interesting to see where this goes, because this could very much so end up benefiting Youngblood.
I hope not.
Benefit him. Yeah. He could come out the winner in this thing. He could actually come out with a verdict that favors him in this thing. It's going to be interesting to see just how this thing plays out, because it's fair game at this point.
Yeah,
it's fair game. Like it could.
I don't want to see the wicked win.
Yeah.
There's too many people out here that's doing wicked things that's winning every single day, while us regular people who's just trying to be honest and try to live a decent life, we're losing. It just seems like the bad people always win.
Well, that's because, Will, this is their world. Like, that's why.
I get it. His ugly ass. Yeah. His ugly ass.
And they created it in a way where they get first dibs.
I hear you.
It's their world. So, yeah.
Hopefully he can buy some hair for his ugly ass face.
Look, that face wasn't too ugly 20 years ago.
He had hair on it.
Okay. Not hair on it. Well, I will put your banner back up here because the T.D Jakes law firm may be reaching out, to Will, so you better be checking your emails regularly, Will, so that you
it's Callaway, all A's, not O.
Oh, all A's, okay, yeah. I mean, they got your email.
That's not a problem. There ain't no problem.
Yeah, because they got your email, so either way.
Yeah, ain't no problem.
That's what it is. Well, thank you for joining, Will. I always like to have you come up and we just go through this thing side by side. Of course, I'm going to be hitting you when we get an update. The next thing that we'll be hearing is from the judge and whether they greenlit the subpoenas and expedited discovery or not.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking for that. And so, I'll be hitting your ass back again.
And me and you need to have a face-to-face before the next one.
A face-to-face? What you mean, like an in-person?
I'm talking about like whether over the phone or something. Me see you, you see me.
You got my number?
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah,
but yeah, hit me up whenever you're ready.
Okay, I might hit you up actually at some point today. I ain't got too much going on today, so I'm gonna hit you up.
Good enough.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Will. Y'all may see Will ass on the stand, baby. Okay.
My man. Yep.
Have a good day, Will.
You too. I'll hit you up in a little bit.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
That was Will Calloway, y'all, the alleged ex-lover boy toy of Duane Youngblood, girl. This thing is getting thick, y'all. That is the update. So we're waiting on the judge now. We'll be keeping an eye out on the docket. The courts may, in fact, greenlight the expedited discovery. We don't know just yet. We have no idea what the attorneys argued yesterday because Jakes was given a hearing that took place on yesterday. That's when Tyrone Blackburn also filed his response to give the judge something to gnaw and chew on. So the judge is going to be chewing on just that. And I'll be seeing y'all for that update. Also, make sure that you guys check out Chill on Top of Tea. We had a great show over on Nosy Hole Live's Twitch page. The link is in the community wall. And we may be coming back later on today, getting into some shenanigans, girl. It's a lot going on in the world, so just stay plugged in, notified. Of course, if you enjoyed yourself, honey, make sure that you guys throw some coin on the old piece of Cash App or PayPal, $ Consciouztv, spelled just how it is here on Cash App, and paypal.me/Consciouztv, spelled just how it is here. Follow me on Patreon, Instagram, and email me all the tea over there on Consciouztv@gmail.com, y'all. And I will see y'all all later. Give me y'all thoughts below. Peace.